What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. This is going to be another installment into the concert review series that I do occasionally on my channel. And today is going to be my review for the legend that is Peter Gabriel live in the Birmingham venue called the Utilita Arena. This is going to be the very personal experience that I do want to share, because besides that, a lot of the concerts that I have attended through bands and musicians that I have been really anticipated for and ended up being so fulfilled with a lot of acclaim and joy, this Peter Gabriel show, in my opinion, is not only just a show and not just an experience, but this is something else. It has got to be a really theatrical and really mystifying and heavily detailed journey to behold. Peter Gabriel has been one of my most favourite musicians of all time, and I don't mind saying this to you guys, that before I really got into music, I had been admired by the wonderful sounds through the hit of Sledgehammer, through the music video of the same track, and that was the first time I have ever seen a Peter Gabriel appearance, because I was into animation through Aardman Studios, and they have created, in my opinion, the greatest animated music video of all time. So Peter Gabriel holds a really special place in my heart for that very big reason. And when I did eventually get into music, the inspirations and the attachment that I had with Peter as a musician never went away. So this will be the only time that I will be seeing Peter Gabriel. And I will have to say, as I said this to my family, because all of us went to see him that night, that it was childhood nostalgia well spent. The lineup for this I.O. tour, which is obviously in for the promotion for his upcoming new studio album of original material, it would be the first album of original music in over 20 years, which is absolutely insane to me. And for those of you who are wondering who is my favourite musician out of this touring lineup, as much as I love Peter Gabriel very much, but it's also a huge plus to see Tony Levin, the man himself, on the bass, because Tony Levin not only has been a big constant member throughout Gabriel's career, but he also played with legendary bands involving King Crimson, played alongside with Adrian Belew, to name a few. It's just absolutely phenomenal. David Rhodes, one of the bandmates during this tour, is also really strong on here, and there's many other musicians that have worked as extensively and as professionally with Peter Gabriel, and I could not have been any happier than that. So anyways, I know that Gabriel is still doing his ongoing tour. I will not say which songs that he had played, because you'll just have to witness these things for yourselves. But I will say he did play a lot of the so far material for his upcoming album of I.O. What I think was fascinating is the whole separate direction into the meaning and the behind the understanding why these new songs were created. There's a lot of the intriguing interaction that he decided to portray to the audience. It was engaging, and yet alone, like what Phil Collins did with his interactions from last year when I went to see Genesis, Gabriel added some comedic humor. And that's what I always appreciate, because not only that he wants to say these things in this kind of reflective to philosophical way of expressing himself, why these songs were made, but it is also beautiful to look at this legendary musician in contact with the crowd and say whatever he wants to say, and having his own personality. Peter Gabriel has always been one of these musicians that there's nobody else who would be like him in any shape and size for being a big rock star or progressive musician. But Peter Gabriel has been just so much of this detailed, this complex and very dedicated type of personality. So anyways, the sound quality that's been projected through the speakers, it was really, really nice. The sound of the drums to the bass were perfect, super tight, and the other instruments to the keyboards, the guitars, and everything else, really percussive elements through the music to the vocal harmonies. It was a really sweet and mostly complete mix, if only if the vocals were turned up just a little bit more to hear the main voice of Peter Gabriel's. Because when I hear him sing, it's being projected through the whole room, but it was not as equal in the mixing. But despite that, his vocals were outstanding. It's insane to me that his voice has aged as strongly. And I know I don't want to take the mick here, but Paul McCartney's been bested by Peter Gabriel's voice, because his vocals throughout the whole show here was as melodic, as not really changeable, in a way that his voice sounds like something else. No, his voice is still sounding complete and natural and full of artistic expression. Even when he reaches those high notes, he nailed it through the roof. So for a musician who's been making music for more than 50 years is outstanding. He did play some of the biggest hits, and for any Gabriel fan, you know which songs were in the set. But what I also appreciated is that he played the lesser, more overlooked material. And that was another big, neat idea. Because yes, we love to hear a lot of the same stuff that we admire throughout his art, but to spread some more variety and make the set list completely not predictable, it makes this whole experience so much better. The lighting to the screens, the projections through the visions on the effects to the colors were a beautiful combination. The camera work, filming the musicians and the crowd was really cool to see. And I was sitting through one of the higher raised seats. The only negative that I have been going through throughout the gig was the stage was not like right in front of me with my neck completely straight. So I had to, at some points, lean my neck towards this way to the point that I will have to just turn the whole body of myself to sit to face the stage properly. However, the rest of the show was amazing. The biggest worst thing that I will say about this whole thing was the ticket price from Ticketmaster. I will not say how much I purchased, because it was the absolute worst ever price that I've had to cope and spend with. I had to quickly buy the tickets as soon as they were out to purchase from the Ticketmaster site. And that was the absolute worst amount of money that I've ever spent. However, it was one of my favorite shows in the end to complete adoring and this feeling of being blown away. Peter Gabriel, you have done a phenomenal job. Much love to you and the rest of the touring musicians. And like I said, it was amazing to see Tony Levin, who's one of my favourite bass players and experimental musicians ever, just like Peter Gabriel himself. And with that being said, guys, that's all I would like to say in this concert review. If you have seen Peter Gabriel live, let me know what you think of your take on seeing one of the greatest and best musicians of all time in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.